Let's talk some Oregon Duck recruiting. The number 3 ranked class in the country. Oregon is moving the needle with some key targets, and they're looking for more. Steve, let's start with talking about top 5 corner Elbert Hill. He was back on campus. What are you hearing about his recruitment to Oregon?
Well, I'm hearing that Oregon's in the top 2 with USC, Alabama, and Ohio State rounding out the top 4 for Elbert Hill, the 4th out of Akron, Ohio. But Oregon has as good a chance as anybody. He got a chance to get back around the coaching staff, loves Dan Lanning and the trajectory of that football program, spent some time with former 5-star Trey McNutt, another Ohio native that chose the Ducks over Ohio State and Texas A&M and among others in the last cycle. And Elbert Hill could be Oregon's next big win in the Midwest in 2026.
All right, Steve, who else are the Ducks moving the needle with right now?
Well, they have a shot to finish number 1, Josh. They sit at number 3 in the On3 industry standings, and some other big timers on campus this weekend included the number 2 cornerback in the On3 rankings, Davon Benjamin. I still like my On3 RPM in favor of Oregon. Sure, there's stiff competition from USC, Miami, Georgia, and Michigan, but he's always had a lot of love for Oregon and that staff and feels very comfortable in Eugene. I'm still riding with the Ducks for Davon Benjamin. It was a huge weekend in the secondary in general. 2 of the top safeties in the land, Jira Edwards from Baltimore St. Francis and Jet Washington from Las Vegas Bishop Gorman, returned to campus. Edwards has been there several times. He loves Oregon. He said the grass is damn green in Eugene, talking to him about his visit. He loves Coach Tosh Lupoy and that scheme and the way he fits in there. Oregon is definitely in great position for him. And then Jet Washington, he's always been high on Oregon. They've always been a front runner in his recruitment, and it was another really good visit. A couple prominent receivers on campus. Caden Dixon-Wyatt was back, 4-star from Mater Dei. He's been to Oregon a couple times this spring, spent time with new receivers coach Ross Douglas, got back around the program. He's also looking at Ohio State and USC, and I think his timeline moves up. He's got official visits set to these programs for the summer, Texas and Alabama included. But I think he comes off the board in the next few weeks. Ohio State and Oregon in a back-and-forth slobber knocker for Caden Dixon-Wyatt. And then Calvin Russell from Miami Northwestern was also out to visit. Syracuse has been one of his top schools. That's where new Oregon receivers coach Ross Douglas came from. That relationship's been a seamless transition to Eugene. Sounds like he had a really good visit to Oregon, and the Ducks now pushing for an official visit as they battle Georgia, Syracuse, Miami, among others, for Calvin Russell.
Before we're done talking Oregon, we got to check in on a couple 5-stars. Let's start with Jackson Cantwell, the 5-star offensive tackle, makes his decision in about 8 days from now. What is the latest with his decision?
This year's spring transfer portal window is sponsored by Teamworks Intelligence. Their mission is simple: more hits, fewer misses, and player evaluation. In the transfer portal era, data-driven recruiting isn't just an advantage, it's essential. Teamworks Intelligence empowers your program to navigate the transfer portal with precision while simultaneously elevating your game planning and self-scouting capabilities. The same advanced analytics platform trusted by NFL teams to make multi-million-dollar personnel decisions is now available to elevate your college program's evaluation process. For athletic directors, general managers, and coaching staffs, Teamworks Intelligence delivers game-changing efficiency by streamlining the evaluation process. Instead of spending countless hours reviewing film and traveling to scout prospects, your team can assess more players with greater accuracy in less time. This means maximize recruiting efforts within new budget constraints, giving you the competitive edge needed to build championship caliber programs. Don't just survive the portal era, dominate it with Teamworks Intelligence, the new standard in player evaluation. Well, as we said on last week's Whip Fung Whip Run, Miami's the program that has really been surging for Jackson Cantwell. With what Mario Cristobal has been able to do with first-year starters at the offensive line position over the course of his career, Jonah Williams at Alabama, Penei Sewell at Oregon, and then Francis Mauigoa at Miami, to name a few. That's appealing to Jackson Cantwell. Then certainly what the Hurricanes could potentially bring off the field from an NIL perspective, I think those packages are looking pretty strong to Jackson Cantwell at this point in his process. But dialogue continues with other programs. Ohio State's still swinging. He's always had a lot of love for Georgia and that program and the way they do things and that coaching staff. They're trying to hang around in that recruitment. But Oregon looks like the biggest challenger to Miami right now. He's coming back for his official visit this weekend with his family, wants to see them practice. We'll get to see the spring game, get back around the staff. Certainly there'll be some more NIL discussion, and we'll see where people put their cards on the table in that realm. We're talking about the number one player in the country, Jackson Cantwell. And so it'll be interesting to see what those offers look like. But Miami, I think, is the program with the momentum right now per several sources. Oregon remains one of the front runners with the final visit here this weekend, his official visit. And so it'll be interesting to see how some of those conversations go with Dan Lanning and that coaching staff.
All right, another 5-star, this one from the state of California, Brandon Arrington, the number 1 corner in the state, the number 2 player. We've had him trending to a bunch of different schools, but what's up with Arrington and Oregon?
Well, the visits that he takes, those have all been needle movers. And when he visited Oregon earlier this calendar year, the Ducks were the leader. And, he had a great visit to Alabama, loved the California pipeline in their secondary. A&M's been the front runner, and he was recently back over there. USC's really on the gas for Brandon Arrington. He's had some good visits with them for spring practice. He's having a terrific track season right now. Jackson Cantwell and Brandon Arrington. Jackson Cantwell is the best thrower in the country, shot put in disc. And then you got Brandon Arrington, one of the top sprinters in the land. Oregon's definitely a program I could see Brandon Arrington landing at. And Chad Simmons and I, in our intel scoop for the top 32 players in the country this morning, we wrote that we think the West Coast programs will ultimately have the edge for Brandon Arrington, which means that Oregon and USC are the 2 programs that we have the keenest eye on right now.
Recruitment has been a fun one. Now, we got to talk about number 1 quarterback, Jared Curtis. It's going to be either Georgia or Oregon, and he set his decision date. It's going to be May 5th. So, Steve, which color sombrero will Jared Curtis put on when he commits on Cinco de Mayo?
Well, I still think that Oregon is a program that he's super excited about with Dan Lanning, offensive coordinator Will Stein, the offense, multiple visits to Eugene, just feels very comfortable, thinks it's a place that he could be prolific. Oregon, what they offer on and off the field, it's all very exciting. Georgia's still hanging around. He's been committed to the Bulldogs. Loves the type of players that they recruit, loves the program, the culture, Kirby Smart, Mike Bobo. Proximity to home is a big thing for Georgia. Proximity to family, a big thing for the Bulldogs at the end of the cycle. There has been a lot of times recently, or there's been some times recently where it looked like Jared Curtis was close to committing to Oregon. Georgia's the reasons why he hasn't done that. We'll see what it is in May. Was Georgia able to get the momentum back on their side? Or does he ride with Oregon, the program that's probably led the most since he decommitted from the Bulldogs in the fall?